Hey y'all, welcome back. Today we're doing a quick weave on my client Renada. She said she wanted to switch up her look a little bit, and I was just like, hey, let's do a quick weave. And so if you don't know what a quick weave is, it's basically like an instant sew-in. Other terms you might hear to describe the process are pronto weave or a cap. I'm from the South, and down here we say quick weave. At least that's what I've heard my whole life, but you can call it whatever you want. The whole purpose is basically you're gluing the wefts on to the hair instead of sewing it. So it offers, it offers a lot of versatility as far as, well, I want to say it offers a lot of versatility. I take that back. Instead, it makes it so you don't really have to do anything to your hair. So, well, I guess you can say that's kind of versatile. You don't really have to touch it or bother it or anything like that. So, considering that she didn't want to be bothered with her hair for the next few weeks, I said, hey, let's just do a quick weave so you don't have to touch it. The style is already done. You can just get up and go. So that's what we're aiming for today. And we're going to do a bob. So I'm excited. Plus, Renata wears bobs really well too. So I'm excited. Now, I remember back in the day, and when I say back in the day, I'm talking like 90s and maybe early 2000s. The quick weave was the go-to way of attaching extensions. People that got sew-ins and wore wigs and things of that nature, those were more like elite things. Like nowadays, those styles are more considered the norm, but most people did not have access to wear luxury wigs and sew-ins and eye tips, microlinks. All that stuff has been around for decades. However, most people did not have access to it, plain and simple. Those were more your celebrity status kind of hairstyles. So the quick weave, that was the popular way of doing it, and it was effective, but times have changed, so we don't pretty much do it how we used to back in the day. They used to part your hair and then put a weft down, part your hair and then put a weft down, and you just have all this hair. And Lord, you cannot get that stuff wet because people gonna talk about you. They gonna go in on you. So now we have really taking this quick weave thing to another level. People have gotten super creative, and so it's one of my go-tos, for people who just want to put their hair up, don't want to have to deal with the tension that can come with a sew-in and stuff like that. I just say, hey, just go and just do a quick weave. It's simple. I feel like that's more of a protective style than anything because it's no tension on your hair. And you can really be selective on how you place it too. So I love the quick weaves, and it's something that if you don't want to touch your hair and you kind of want to experience a little bit of freedom, that's a go-to. So that's something I would definitely recommend. So like I mentioned earlier, we're doing a bob on Renada, and there are about 3 different classifications of a bob, I'd say. First things first, bobs have been around for years. They have always been here. They will always be here. People will always wear them because they are literally the most versatile and timeless haircut. Like, you can that's just one haircut that you can customize any kind of way, and people will automatically know to classify it as a bob. But there's just not one kind of bob, and that's when the technique kind of comes into play. So for today, we opted for a graduated bob. And the difference between a graduated bob, a layer bob, and like a blunt bob is basically where you're placing those layers. So for a blunt bob, there is no layers. There are no layers present at all. It's just one solid, even line, and they are really, really pretty. When that hair is cut right and they get that swinging, it is drop dead gorgeous. But you can't really put those bobs in the ponytails and it look all that good because the links be kind of, it just be a little uneven once you try to put it in a ponytail. But they are really pretty when they're all down. When you're referring to a graduated bob, that's normally referring to layers that kind of stop right at the middle of your ear, I would say. Or better yet, like the nape of your neck. You're not really elevating, your layers too much. You just want a very, very slight layering towards the bottom. That's more of your graduated bob. And then a layered bob refers to any hair cutting that takes place from like the top of the ear to the apex of the head. And the apex is normally just the tip of your head. That's basically all it is, just the highest point of your head. That's your apex. So your layers are going to be centrally found in that location. So of course, the higher up you go, the shorter the lengths are going to go, the more layers you're going to have. But everybody don't want that. And in this case, Renada did not want that. She wanted her layers to be more subtle towards and kind of more towards her neck. So that's what we opted for. And like I said, you could really switch it up any old kind of way. And when we do her bobs, we normally do a variety of different kinds of lengths and whatnot. But today she wanted something a little bit easier to maintain and curl at home. So we opted for the graduated version. So when I like to do my bobs, the biggest thing that I concern myself with is the placement of those tracks, because you have to get that hair to mimic your natural hair's fall. You don't want an artificial looking placement because it's not going to blend. So I really take my time in installing the wefts because it really, honestly, it needs to be almost perfect. Like, I don't mind cutting them into little tiny pieces, to achieve that flow that I'm looking for, because that's going to affect the cut. And if it's not placed right, then that cut is not going to read the way that you want it to. So I do all my hard work. If you watch my other videos, and you've heard me say this before, but I like to do all the hard work at the beginning. I don't like overworking myself at the end. So I take my time when I am applying those wefts, and then when I'm ready to cut, it doesn't take me any time to cut in style, because the placement is really what's going to dictate that when you're doing a quick weave. So I know some people, if you've never heard of a quick weave before, or even if you have, I'll still share just some pros and cons that, probably will apply to the masses when reference to getting a quick weave or pronto. The pros are you can wear them for upwards of about 6 weeks, and I would say average about 3 to 4 weeks, but you can wear them for up to 6 weeks. But that honestly depends on the quality of the hair used. And I honestly don't like using, virgin hair on quick weaves, but if people want it, of course I'll do it. I prefer stuff you could just throw in the trash because you really can't reuse it anyway. I mean, once it's got the glue on it and stuff like that. Some people take all the glue off. I'm not doing all that. I just throw it in the trash and start all over, get some new hair. So I kind of like to just work with traditional beauty supply store hair or just some Remy hair. Nothing too much. But anyways, it lasts up to 6 weeks. When you use the better hair. But traditionally, I say 3 to 4 weeks is average. Now, one of the cons, however, is that you can't wash your hair. So for people who are kind of just like, I gotta wash my hair every week, this is not for you. Just don't even get this. This is just not for you. For those that don't mind, staying in the style for about 3 to 4 weeks and can go on without shampooing your hair, then this is something that you can get. So I know this may be a little off topic, but I am loving how these extension methods that people have been doing, stylists have been using for years, are finally coming to light. And I think that largely has something to do with social media because people now have platforms to showcase these things. But nevertheless, I am loving people having more options now. Back in the day, you didn't know what you didn't know, but now people have access to see things. Now, although that can kind of be an issue at times, but most of the time it's not. I love being able to show people, hey, you can get this, you can get this. There's just not one way of doing things anymore, or one popular way. There are many different popular ways of achieving, the same look. And I think that's important because everybody's hair is not compatible with the same techniques, especially when you're talking about applying extensions and whatnot. Everybody's not a candidate for a sew-in. Some people don't need to do a quick weave. Some people can't do micro links. Some people can't do tape-ins. So I think having those options now is really kind of transforming our industry a little bit better, and people are starting to become a little bit more educated on things too. So I really do like that. So Renada's hair is finished. It is popping, and y'all, I love cutting bobs. Like, when you want me to freestyle a haircut, ask me to do a bob, because you can just get as spicy as you want with a bob. You can exaggerate it. You can keep it real simple and plain Jane. You can keep it classic. You can go edgy. There are so many different ways to personalize and detail a bob, and I think we kind of executed that today. We gave her that flavor she was looking for. So I appreciate you, of course, for watching my videos. Thank you for stopping by. Hey, even if you don't subscribe, I still appreciate you, taking time out your day to watch my videos. So until next time, y'all enjoy your day or your evening wherever you are, and I'll see y'all next time.